A Chinese invasion is making Hong Kong completely unrecognizable. This is Hong Kong's great replacement. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. The Chinese Communist Party is brilliant in its own twisted, evil way. Nowhere is that clearer than the takeover of Hong Kong. We brought you on-the-scene coverage of the Hong Kong protests in 2019, including a 2 million person march. Keep in mind, Hong Kong has a population of only 7 million. Hong Kong was supposed to be under a policy called one country, two systems. Basically, Hong Kong was supposed to have the freedoms nowhere else in China possessed. Obviously, the Communist Party wouldn't let that stand. After the massive protests in 2019, the CCP imposed a new national security law on Hong Kong that basically made protests illegal. Protesters were arrested, along with the mass arrest of pro-democracy politicians. Hong Kong's pro-democracy legislators were then forced to resign en masse. The party had taken control of the Hong Kong government. And so just recently, Hong Kong passed a new national security law called Article 23. When the Communist Party first tried to get Article 23 passed way back in 2003, 500,000 people came out in protest. It effectively killed the bill. But since you can't protest anymore, and the Communist Party seized control of the Hong Kong government, they had no problems passing it now. Now you might be wondering, why bother with Article 23 when there was already the national security law that does basically the same thing? Well, this is how the party wages narrative warfare. The national security law was passed by Beijing, but Article 23 was passed by the Hong Kong government. It's what the people of Hong Kong want. You see what they did? But the CCP isn't done with Hong Kong yet. There is a plan underway right now to actually get most of the people in Hong Kong on board with Communist Party rule. And they're doing that by changing who the Hong Kong people are. I'll tell you more after the break. Welcome back. As the party's Red Terror sweeps Hong Kong, natives and expats are fleeing the city. And so the party is replacing them with Chinese mainlanders. There's actually more people living in Hong Kong now because of the influx of Chinese. Hong Kong universities attracted a record number of mainland Chinese students last year. The same thing happened with mainland scholars. In fact, as of May last year, mainland Chinese academics outnumbered locals at Hong Kong universities. It's actually at all levels of schools. Teachers have been quitting as schools and universities are forced to be politically correct. They call it patriotic education. One teacher described it saying, "It feels like there's a noose over my head." But not to worry, Chinese state-run media suggested a solution to the loss of teachers. Citing a Hong Kong politician, Chinese state-run media proposes allowing teachers from the Chinese mainland and overseas to teach in Hong Kong to fill the vacancies. So Hong Kong schools will be filled with mainland teachers teaching mainland students mainland communist propaganda. Yeah, somehow I think in a few years, all the people of Hong Kong will wholeheartedly support the Chinese Communist Party. It's businesses too. Mainland Chinese firms are outnumbering foreign ones for the first time. And more mainlanders are taking up jobs. Mainlanders are even adding to the number of beggars on Hong Kong streets. Now this is not a new strategy for the CCP. After the CCP invaded Tibet, mainland Chinese flooded in. Today in Xinjiang, the CCP is giving subsidies for mainland ethnic Han Chinese to move there, eliminating the Uyghurs and their culture. And once they're there, they start to eliminate the local culture. In particular, they start restricting the local language, forcing people to speak Mandarin. Guess what's happening in Hong Kong? Hong Kong is becoming just another Chinese city, not just because the party has imported its authoritarian surveillance state, but because the Hong Kong people are literally being replaced. They did it in Tibet, Mongolia, Xinjiang. They're doing it now in Hong Kong. And guess what? Taiwan is next. Of course, the Chinese Communist Party hates that I'm exposing their crimes. That's why Chinese state-run media even called China Uncensored disgraceful anti-China garbage, which I put on a t-shirt that you can buy at chinauncensored.tv/merchandise. But because Google is a big fan of the Chinese Communist Party, YouTube suppresses the show and I can't afford to keep making China Uncensored. Paying my staff and keeping the lights on isn't cheap, and the CCP would love it if I had to shut down the show. That's why I need your help. All it takes is $1 or more an episode on patreon.com/China Uncensored. I make about 16 episodes a month, but if that's too much for you, you can always set a monthly limit. So you can ensure I can keep uncensoring China for even $1 a month. And as a thank you to everyone who gives on Patreon, I'll answer one of your questions at the end of these episodes. Today's question comes from Charlie Badge. Question: Chris, you recently gave props to Australia for disguising our actors as American. I thought I would return the favor by suggesting you disguise sensitive topics within unrelated materials like gaming. Just thinking down under the box. Oh, Charlie, that's a brilliant idea. YouTube hates it when I talk about controversial topics, so I could just hide them in gaming content. Brilliant idea. And if you watching like that idea, click on this video where I do just that. This week I'm talking about RimWorld, a game where you can harvest organs from prisoners. I don't think the CCP wants me talking about that. Thanks for your support, Charlie, and your idea. You can join Charlie on Patreon by clicking this orange button. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.